Welcome back to Nick Lynch's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classics. This is episode number 65 and Doubleshot number 1759. I have basically one Dynamite trade, one DC trade. First up it is Red Sonja, Worlds Away, Volume 3, Hell or Hyrkania. Yeah. This collects issues from Red Sonja Volume 5, issues 12 to 16. Written by Amy Chu and Eric Burnham. Yep. Now, of course, basically the artwork is by Carlos Gomez. Now, simply put, mostly this is just Red Sonja back in the Hyrkania times, no longer in present day. She's here with a festival, just basically wanders about, gets captured, gets to fight an ultimate version of herself. And of course, kind of like Glavis here, not really play a big player here. We have a brief cutaway to the present day. What to worry about here? Just basically pass on time with these issues. They're good issues, but there's not much here. I mean, the biggest thing that happened in these issues is Red Sonja finding a version of herself in the past. That's simply the best way to describe what happened in these issues. Yeah, it's pretty good. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, next up it is Grifter Volume 2. Newfound Power, collecting issues of Grifter Volume 3, issues 0, and 9 to 16. This is the second and last trade that collect issues from Grifter Volume 3. Yeah, because series got canceled at issue 16. And it is the third book I have reviewed from that's written by Rob Liefeld from DC Comics. I have reviewed the second trade for Deathstroke. Issues done by Rob Liefeld, only the first handful of issues of that one. There is also Savage Hawkman. First handful of issues, that one handled with Frank Tieri. While in the case of Deathstroke, I think it was also Frank Tieri as well. Yeah, it's kind of weird Frank Tieri working on these issues. Now, I like these issues a lot better than the original ones. The original 8 issues. Why? Because of a new direction with this book, with Rob Liefeld taking the book. Yeah, this actually was one of 3 books he was given when Hawkman when Hawk and Dove was canceled after only 8 issues. He was given this title along with Savage Hawkman and Deathstroke. The first 2 lasted to issue 20, even though he left after a handful of issues. This one managed to last this issue 16. Oh, and here's a fun fact for you about Grifter. Did you know the first 2 volumes are not in trade? No, seriously, they're not. Despite the fact Marvel and DC owns these characters, and yet the first 2 volumes of Grifter are not in trade. Now, this book kind of feels like more like old school Wildcats, basically stuff. Well, the Wildstorm stuff, where basically the whole thing with the dynamite stuff, with the body possession stuff, yeah, that storyline is dropped. They completely shoved that to the side, though that story is briefly brought up in the pages of New 52 Features End, where a version of Grifter was featured there. This book, nothing to do with it at all. This book feels like a simple spy book featuring Grifter, and he teams up with Deathblow. And yes, he is a character from Wildstorm. And do they make any changes to him? Not really per se. And if you're curious though, for Deathblow, yes, that is seriously the character's name. Now, he is a creation of, get this, Jim Lee and Brandon Choi. His first appearance was in Darker Image number 1. And did you know there was actually a one-shot that was done that featured him teaming up with Batman? And do you know who was the creative team behind that book? Brian Azzarello and Lee Bajamo. It's the only one-shot I can think of they ever did. I've read it. It's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, he makes first appearance here in issue 9, which basically, I believe this was the first time that Cheshire appears in the New 52 continuity, which is interesting given the fact that Cheshire is a Teen Titans character, and she makes her first appearance in the pages of of frickin' Grifter? Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's no reason for this at all. Yeah, I don't know what was the reason for this. Yeah, first appearing issue number 9 of all. Well, actually, it says on here was Red Hood and the Outlaws and number 1, but technically, Grifter number 9 was her first appearance. Yeah, it's a bit confusing here. Like, they say on here, oh, it was Grifter. You could say it's like a different version of the character, but no, she did appear in Grifter. But it's not listed on the Wiki page for some reason. Maybe it was a different version of the character. We also the character Hellspawn. Yeah, he briefly appears in this book. And if you're curious, though, is he from Wildstorm? Yes, he is. He makes a return to the books first time since issue 7. Yeah, he appears in here for a small handful of issues. Okay, so Nico was apparently supposed to be Cheshire, but they actually changed to a completely different character. I mean, let me show what the character looks like here, and you would get the mass amount of confusion here with Nico. Like, look at this outfit here. Would this outfit look like it was worn by Cheshire? Yes, for some reason they changed their minds, and they decided to make a virtual character Nico, who kind of becomes his love interest, and we do see later on, we see the first appearance of frickin' Deathblow. Here he is. That's Deathblow. Yep, that's pretty much who he is. And I thought this was his first appearance in this continuity. Well, actually it is. But they don't say it is, but it actually is. Yep, and aside appearing in this book here, he also appeared in the Superman Annual and Batman Urban Legends, and of course Deathstroke. Yeah, I don't remember reading this one, but it's interesting though. We actually have Deathblow, and it's the. Oh yeah, by the way, his real name is Michael Choi. Now there was this Wildstorm book, basically that did appear recently. Now you're probably thinking, did he appear in that book? No, it was somebody else. But yeah, Deathblow, believe it or not, actually had an ongoing comic from Wilds. I've never read it. It lasted for 29 issues, had a relaunch. It lasted for 9. But in the case of Deathblow from the current continuity, who is in fact Michael Choi, yeah, there is a Wildstorm book. Yeah, so. And apparently, for some reason, they had Green Arrow appeared in like one issue of that book for reasons. Do not know why, but the character appeared there. Which seems odd given the fact that he has nothing to do with Wildstorm. And yeah, I remember him being featured in the book for some reason. I think I remember being called the Wildstorm. Yeah, here it is. Found it. Yeah. Yeah, which that one did feature another version of Michael Choi, aka Death Blow. Mm-hmm. In black for some reason, yes. And he got his own spin-off book. Yep. But yeah, Death Blow. Good character. Yep. One thing at least appreciate with this book, it feels more like a spy book, and here's Hellspawn. Yeah, for some reason, they kind of made him briefly a Superman villain. Despite the fact he's a Wildcat villain. After dealing with him, then he deals with Stormwatch and the Suicide Squad, and then that's where the book ends, is him dealing those two teams. Yeah, quite interesting though. Good book. I actually enjoy this a lot better than the first 8 issues of this book. I give this book, here's a shocker for even a Rob Liefeld book, a 9.5 out of 10. He didn't do the artwork, surprisingly. No, he didn't, which is shocking. The artwork is done by Scott Clark and Mark Matthews. Excuse me. He does this cover. Yep, he does the covers, but not the interior. Andrew Dahlhaus does he's the colorist of this book. Yeah, final thoughts on this volume for Grifter. Now, like I said before, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the first 8 issues. Despite the fact, yes, it's one of my favorite writers, Nathaniel Emerson. This book, under him, was just not that good. No, seriously, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm not really even sure why in the world he basically was even featured in the book. Now, Liefeld himself would not stay in this book very long as a writer for this book. Oh no, he wouldn't. He actually leave by issue 14. He even did the issue 0. Yep. Frank Thierry actually did pretty much the whole rest of this thing. I think the reason why this feels like a pretty interesting book is because Frank Thierry, who I have met, wrote pretty much the whole thing here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he basically came on issue 9 like Rob Liefeld did. And unlike Liefeld, he actually finished the book. Yeah, the last couple issues done by him solo. Yeah, and the Demonox creatures, yeah, they're pretty much in the way almost dropped from the book. They're not really brought up much. I don't really see them at all. They're not necessity, but I found these should be a lot of fun. But in the case of Emerson's run from DC, this was probably one of a few books he ever did for DC. I mean, the only thing else really is, I mean, I reviewed the first volume for Bat Black. This is the second volume of Bat Black. I have not discussed this one yet. The only thing I'll have to discuss for him is just a couple one-shot stories, and that's it. Yeah, Edmiston didn't really do very much for DC Comics. No, he just did one ongoing series plus a couple one-shot issues. And that was it. No, seriously. Yeah. But that's the thing about his run for DC. It's not very long. No, it's like he just did this book, couple issues of Superman, and issue of Batman Black and White. And that's been pretty much it for his run for DC. At least the guy's run for DC mostly done. I would say in the case of Marvel, I would say as of right now, I've got his Punisher run done. With the exception of Untold Tales Marvel Max. Basically a few books per se. Mostly I got his ongoing books, except for one. And that is Red Wolf. And that basically came out 6 years ago. Now, my guess is he may have left this book due to being fired. That's what I guess when he was removed from Deathstroke book. That's the reason was let go, was because he got fired from the book. Could this happen to Edmiston? It's possible, to say the least. That's probably what happened with him. Liefeld, I'm not really sure why he left his books after only just a handful of issues. Yes. Now, if you're curious, though, as of right now, like, what really else is left to talk about for Liefeld's time at DC? Well, not much. I discussed Grifter, Deathstroke, and Savage Hawkman. I've discussed all those, no problem. Yeah, I've discussed those. This stuff he did for DC, I'd say probably the only thing left to go for him is probably his Hawk and Dove stuff. Yeah, I'd probably say just Hawk and Dove. For artwork anyways. I'd say, I'm looking at right now, I think like the only thing left to go for him is just the two volumes for Hawk and Dove. He did volumes 2 and 5. There's a couple issues of Teen Titans. I have discussed that one Superman issue, but basically, mostly for ongoing purposes, I think the only thing left to go for him is just Hawk and Dove. And that's it. Yep. Now, aside from Nico, was there anything like new characters he introduced in this run for Grifter? Aside from bringing Death Below, which I thought was a really smart move. Now, my guess is probably Jim Lee would probably suggest it from him do that. Yeah, that's probably my guess anyways. That it was probably his suggestion to bring in Death Below. And Death Below himself is not in this book very long. He's in issues 9 through 12, and he's in the final issue, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and if you're curious though, have I reviewed everything for Death Below from the current continuity? Mostly yes, except for, I think Let's Let It Go, which is probably the Deathstroke special. I think that's it. Yes. Though in the case of Grifter, but okay, since I covered Grifter, and I covered his story from Batman Urban Legends, you might think, okay, is there anything really left for him to talk about for Grifter from the current continuity? Well, there's Team 7. Yep, Team 7. Yeah, I'd say just Team 7. There's a couple issues of I Voodoo. And apparently his most recent appearance today was actually Deathstroke Incorporated number 4. Yeah, this kind of was his most recent appearance today. Probably a flashback, but yeah, it's kind of weird though that was his most recent comic book appearance. Though you could say it could be like Urban Legends number 5. Yeah, when they concluded his feature in the book. So someone's like, okay, what is next for Grifter? The answer is, I have no idea. But as of right now, for solo book wise, I've covered both this book and his feature from Urban Legends. But in the case of ongoing stuff left for him to do, it's probably just Team 7. And that's simply it for him. Aside from some one-shot issues here and there. But that's the only thing ongoing left to go for Grifter for the current continuity. Would I ever discuss the first flame for Grifter? No. I have no plan to discuss the first flame. Yep. But that's going to be pretty much it for this particular review. I have no more time for videos tonight, so expect tomorrow to see Kamen Rider. Well, since I don't have any anime interrupted today, so I'd probably say tomorrow I'll definitely cover Overlord tomorrow, and maybe another Comic Corner. Okay, next video. Bye.